Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. It is your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Please reach out to me directly. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com for pricing. Today we are discussing a spectacular handcrafted Rolex Oyster Perpetual Cosmograph Daytona reference 116599 RBR M series, so circa 2008. It is a white gold Daytona, diamond paved with a meteorite dial. Let's get started. 40 millimeters in diameter. The watch is fairly thin at 12.3 millimeters thick. It is 47.5 millimeters lug-to-lug, but if we include these spectacular extended end links, the total distance across the wrist is 50.6 millimeters. There's a 20 millimeter spacing between the lugs, and we will throw it on my wrist right here. My wrist is 16 centimeters in circumference. The first thing you'll note is that the watch is as thin as any other Daytona, so no issues there. But because of the end links, it's broader across the wrist than most Daytonas on straps, so it wears like a Daytona on a bracelet, which is to say I would recommend it for a wrist of 14 centimeters circumference or larger, and it is quite broad. A lot of that is just down to those end links. But then again, with a watch like this, more is better, right? This is a more is more type of watch. More gold, more diamonds, more meteorite, and yes, more wrist real estate, and this delivers. Taking a quick look at the strap, you can see that it is a Rolex factory strap, calfskin on the bottom, large rectangular scale alligator leather in a sort of ultramarine blue on the top with a semi-gloss finish. There's a monotone stitch, a sheer cut side. We have a folding clasp in white gold. You can see there are several divots drilled internally, so you can move the spring bar to change the anchoring point of the strap to fine-tune the fit. We can also help you out with a different strap if for whatever reason this one can't be adapted to your wrist. It snaps shut with friction and then it locks close with a clamshell. Now, Rolex makes its own cases and clasps. It has its own foundry. It smelts its own gold, which is why, well, first of all, you'll see Rolex maker's marks on everything, including the clasp, but also Rolex uses a white gold alloy called gray gold, so it's 18 karat white gold all the way through. It never needs to be rhodium plated, and if it is scratched, it's the same color underneath. We have screw down crowns, screw down pushers here. You can see it's a white gold trip lock, because it has 3 dots, and the center dot is the big one. 100 meters water resistant. It has a solid oyster style case back. The end links and the bezel are paved with gems. Now, I mentioned at the beginning of this review that this is a handcrafted watch, and so it is. Rolex gem setting is still done manually using traditional tools, staking tools, blow torches, eyepieces, everything except the grading of the gems, which is done by a laser. A laser machine grades the color and the clarity of the gems, and then they're weighed out to make sure the carats are identical. But the actual setting and the fixing is all done by hand in an atelier where everything is as it would have been in the 19th century. And this is the only part of Rolex where the entire process is manual rather than automated. Now, on the dial side, it becomes even more special as we have meteorite. You can see a large disc of meteorite, so iron, sub-registers as well, treated so that oxidation patterns resembling a crystalline matrix form, and then it's stabilized so it won't oxidize anymore, and these are called Widmanstätten patterns. Now, we have white gold hands, logo, and numerals, and all of this is done with a view to lasting beauty, as white gold will not oxidize or tarnish over time. We have a few well-chosen red accents on this dial, including some of the hands, as well as the Daytona script, and inside the case, Rolex manufactured caliber 4130, introduced in 2000, is their own movement, bidirectional automatic winding. The rotor features a ball bearing for durability of the winding system, 72-hour power reserve, 4 hertz beat rate, 44 joules. It has stop seconds function, so we will wind this watch up so we get it going again. Then I'll demonstrate some of these secondary setting methods. So the stop seconds allows you to set the watch precisely against a known accurate reference time. So for example, you can see the little seconds hand and the chronograph hands. Well, you can pull that crown out, and in its outermost position, everything stops, so you can set it to a reference time. Now, we also have a combination of a column wheel, which is the function selector of the chronograph, very traditional and upscale, makes for a chronograph that sounds and feels great to operate. We also have a vertical clutch, which means that the seconds hand always engages smoothly and seamlessly without jumping. And because of a vertical clutch, there are 2 other things you need to know. First, it always sets precisely to the reference up at 12 o'clock. And then, of course, you can leave the chronograph running full time if you wish, because the vertical clutch creates no additional wear and tear. So you can have your seconds, your minutes, and your hours at center if you just want to use this as a seconds hand. Now, the watch is a COSC certified Swiss chronometer, and it features a number of durability refinements, such as a full balance bridge and a free sprung balance, so the watch can be set precisely and be shock tolerant. It has an overcoil hairspring so that the mass of the hairspring is centered, keeps consistent time in every physical position on your wrist or on your dresser, and that hairspring is made of a niobium zirconium anti-magnetic alloy, so this watch is shock resistant, water resistant, and anti-magnetic. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.